Last year, more than 600,000 individuals departed from the states of New York and California, marking a significant shift in migration patterns within the United States. The Northeast and West Coasts, once regarded as the most desirable regions to reside in the entire country, are now witnessing a surprising exodus. This raises questions about the destinations people are choosing, the reasons behind their departure, and whether this signals a fundamental transformation in the landscape of the United States. Throughout history, the size of large cities in the United States has fluctuated in response to various national circumstances. However, the current mass exodus in certain areas has become a cause for concern among several metropolitan regions. Formerly abundant with lucrative opportunities and plentiful jobs, these cities are now witnessing fierce competition to attract and retain residents. Recent data reveals that out of the 88 U.S. cities with populations exceeding 250,000, 77 displayed signs of either a growth slowdown or an actual decline in population. This suggests that a staggering 87.5% of U.S. cities could face serious challenges in the coming years. In the early 2000s, city populations began to decline due to the ease with which home buyers obtained credit, leading to a suburban housing market boom. However, this urban exodus was fueled by an illusion. Banks were extending loans with exorbitant interest rates to high-risk individuals, who ultimately struggled to make full payments. The situation reached a breaking point in 2008 when the housing market collapsed, causing banks to suffer losses exceeding $1 trillion due to bad loans and toxic assets. Between January 2007 and September 2009, numerous individuals were evicted from their homes as banks foreclosed on their properties. They were compelled to seek alternative living arrangements, such as apartments, until they could regain stability. As the United States gradually recovered from the impact of the Great Recession, cities experienced renewed growth. The suburbs, once favored by many, lost their appeal as stricter regulations were imposed on banks to prevent the issuance of bad loans. Additionally, homeownership remained an expensive endeavor, prompting millennials to prioritize their careers and postpone starting families. However, in 2012, a shift began to unfold. Cities witnessed an overall decline in growth rates, culminating in 2021 and 2022 when the population of U.S. cities contracted by 0.95%. This marked the first instance in recent history where the overall city population in the United States experienced a decline. To comprehend the reasons behind this urban exodus, it is crucial to examine the data pertaining to key locations. By doing so, we can gain a better understanding of the factors driving this significant migration. It is worth considering that your current residents may also be susceptible to similar challenges in the future. Before delving into specific cities experiencing population loss, we would like to acknowledge the sponsorship of BetterHelp for this content. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy service, offering access to a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists. Whether you prefer text, chat, phone, or video sessions, BetterHelp ensures personalized matching with the right therapist based on your needs and preferences. With enhanced scheduling flexibility and affordability, BetterHelp provides a professional and convenient therapy experience. You can avail a 10% discount on your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/infographics. The link is also provided in the description. Now, let us turn our attention to the cities grappling with declining populations. When considering the broader perspective, it becomes apparent that multiple states are potentially facing significant challenges. California, New York, and Louisiana witnessed the largest outflows of residents in 2022. California alone lost 343,000 inhabitants, although its population still hovers around 39.2 million. While this decline may seem modest in relation to its overall population, it is part of a more substantial trend. New York saw 300,000 individuals leave its borders, whereas Louisiana experienced an exodus of 46,600 people. This trend has persisted for several years. One prominent factor contributing to the population shift is the mass exodus from cities and densely populated areas that commenced in 2020. As the COVID-19 pandemic unfolded and lockdown measures were implemented, individuals scrambled to leave heavily urbanized areas, fearing the spread of the virus. Although the pandemic eventually subsided in the United States, many people opted to refrain from returning to cities. Instead, they continued their migration to other parts of the country. Later on, we will explore the underlying reasons for this phenomenon. For now, let us continue our analysis at the state level. In addition to California, New York, and Louisiana, other unsettling trends have emerged across the country. All three states in the tri-state area, New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey, experienced an overall decline in population in 2022. Connecticut lost 13,500 residents, while New Jersey witnessed a reduction of 64,200 individuals. The predicament here is that many individuals in these states work in New York City, a global financial hub. Furthermore, Massachusetts, the most populous state in New England, saw a population decline of 57,000 in 2022, affecting those working in and around Boston. Consequently, the northeastern region of the United States is witnessing a net loss of residents. It is noteworthy that New York alone contributes over 8% to the nation's GDP, while Massachusetts contributes nearly 3%. Together, these states account for more than 10% of the US GDP. Therefore, if people continue to leave these areas, it could potentially lead to economic hardships in the northeastern part of the country. Cities across the United States are experiencing a significant decline in population, and this trend is particularly pronounced in major metropolitan areas. States like California, Illinois, and Pennsylvania, which house some of the largest cities in the country, have seen substantial losses in residents. Out of the top 10 largest cities in the US, 8 have witnessed a decline in population, with only Phoenix, Arizona, and San Antonio, Texas, bucking the trend. The causes behind these population losses are multifaceted and complex. Examining individual case studies can shed light on the cities suffering the most significant losses and the underlying reasons. San Francisco, for example, saw around 40,000 people move out in 2022. The exorbitant cost of living in the city is a major factor contributing to this exodus. With real estate and businesses monopolized by lucrative tech companies, prices have skyrocketed, making it nearly impossible for most people to afford property in the area. The median cost of buying a house in San Francisco stands at a staggering $1.4 million, pricing out many residents and pushing them to seek more affordable options elsewhere. Los Angeles faces a similar predicament. The city's notorious traffic congestion, with residents spending around an hour stuck in traffic every day, adds immense strain to daily life. Coupled with exorbitant living expenses, including an average monthly apartment rent of $3,093, Los Angeles has become an increasingly challenging place to call home. The high cost of living, coupled with escalating rents, has made homeownership even more elusive for many Angelenos. These factors have prompted numerous residents to leave the city they once called home. New York City, known as the most expensive city in the entire country, lost over 20,000 residents last year. The exorbitant cost of living has rendered the city unsustainable for many, resulting in a surplus of empty apartments while thousands of individuals and families reside in Department of Homeless Services facilities. The lack of affordable housing, combined with the high cost of living, poses a significant challenge for both individuals and companies seeking to attract talented individuals to work in the city. Even the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., has witnessed a population decline, with 15,000 people leaving in 2022. Despite being home to numerous government programs and opportunities, the rising cost of living has made it increasingly difficult for residents to make ends meet. What is happening in these major cities reflects a broader trend in the United States. Larger cities are either experiencing a decline in incoming residents or stagnating in terms of population growth. Neglected buildings and mass departures have become the norm, painting a concerning picture for the future of these urban areas. This phenomenon is not limited to the United States. Many countries with developed economies are facing similar population stagnation or decline. Europe, for instance, is projected to experience a 6% decline in population by the end of the century, while the growth rate in the United States is also expected to stagnate earlier than previously anticipated. Several factors contribute to this demographic shift. Millennials and subsequent generations are delaying starting families and having fewer children on average compared to previous generations. The fertility rate in the United States, which has not surpassed the replacement level of 2.1 births per woman since 1971, sits at around 1.6 births per woman and is projected to decline further. Birth rates, although not the sole determinant of population growth, are a crucial factor. Additionally, immigration patterns and other factors play a role, but the overall trajectory suggests that population growth in the United States will slow significantly and could potentially lead to a decrease in the population. This demographic shift has profound implications for U.S. cities. The ongoing population decline indicates that people are not only leaving cities, but international migration to major urban areas is also diminishing. Over the past decade, international migration to cities like New York and San Francisco has approached zero. Thus, cities are witnessing a double blow as U.S. citizens move to other parts of the country, and the influx of immigrants dwindles. The question arises, why are people leaving cities, and where are they relocating? The reasons behind this mass exodus from cities are complex and varied. While the Northeast and West Coasts are particularly affected, major cities in the Midwest, such as Chicago, are also experiencing population decline. However, the destinations people are choosing to move to are not concentrated in a single location. Instead, individuals and families are gravitating towards several key areas that offer more affordable housing options, job opportunities, and reasonable tax rates. The South, in particular, has emerged as a popular destination for those seeking to escape the challenges of urban living. In conclusion, cities in the United States are grappling with a significant decline in population, with major metropolitan areas being the hardest hit. Factors such as soaring living expenses, unaffordable housing markets, congestion, and the overall unsustainability of urban life contribute to this trend. Moreover, broader demographic shifts, including delayed family formation and declining birth rates, suggest that the United States population growth will slow and potentially decline in the coming decades. These population dynamics have implications for cities, as they experience a double blow from both internal and international migration declines. People are seeking refuge in more affordable and promising locations across the country, particularly in the South. As cities face an uncertain future, understanding the causes and consequences of this population decline becomes paramount for policymakers and urban planners seeking sustainable solutions. The states experiencing the largest influx of new residents are primarily located in the southeastern region of the United States, with a notable presence in Texas as well. Florida takes the lead as the top destination, attracting 319,000 new residents in 2022. Texas follows closely behind with an influx of 230,000 residents. North and South Carolina, along with Georgia, also witnessed a significant increase in their populations as numerous newcomers crossed their borders. North Carolina welcomed nearly 100,000 new residents, while South Carolina saw an uptick of 84,000 people. Interestingly, this surge in population occurred concurrently with the departure of approximately 300,000 residents from both New York and California. Upon closer examination of the states experiencing an influx of new residents, it becomes evident that specific counties serve as popular destinations. Surprisingly, individuals are not leaving cities to relocate to other cities. Instead, they are choosing to settle in areas abundant with undeveloped land and affordable properties. It is important to note that these new residents are not necessarily building their own houses or moving into single-family homes. Many opt to purchase or rent condominiums and apartments. This choice contrasts with the prevailing trend in major urban centers, where people are departing in search of alternative living arrangements. For instance, let's consider Ocala, Florida, which witnessed a significant inbound move rate of 57.1%. Positioned between Orlando and Gainesville, Ocala attracts a considerable number of individuals who prefer to reside outside the cities. Although they may work in the nearby urban centers, they choose to purchase or rent homes in more rural areas. This pattern is not unique to Ocala, it is observed in other regions that experienced substantial population growth as well. Take Tallahassee, the capital of Florida, for example, where the inbound move rate reached 56.6%. Yet, a closer analysis reveals that the regions attracting newcomers are not within the city itself but rather in the surrounding rural areas. Interestingly, the city of Tallahassee actually witnessed a decrease in inbound movers. Similar trends can be observed in the Charlotte, Gastonia, and Concord regions spanning both North and South Carolina, boasting a 56.6% inbound move rate. While there are pockets of declining population in these areas, such declines primarily occur near heavily populated urban centers. Residents from various parts of the country, as well as within the counties themselves, are seeking to relocate farther away from cities in search of more affordable housing options. Texas follows a similar pattern. Although major cities like Dallas are experiencing a decline in residents, the vast expanse of land in Texas remains appealing to those seeking affordability. However, one downside to living in rural Texas is the necessity of owning a car, especially if one resides outside the metropolitan areas. As a result, mega highways have been constructed, leading to extensive traffic congestion. Nevertheless, the benefits of living in rural Texas outweigh the inconveniences, prompting a significant influx of people who seek to escape the urban lifestyle. Now, let's explore the reasons behind this exodus from major cities. Unsurprisingly, a significant factor boils down to finances. Unless one earns a substantial income, residing in a city can be quite challenging. Housing costs, food prices, and taxes tend to be exorbitant, swiftly depleting one's bank account. Consider a salary of $100,000 in various major cities and examine how it translates into purchasing power. Contrary to what one might assume, earning a six-figure salary in New York City is comparable to earning minimum wage in many other parts of the country. Financial analysts have determined that a $100,000 salary in New York City equates to roughly $35,000 in other regions due to several factors. Firstly, individuals residing in New York City are subject to federal taxes, New York state taxes, and New York City taxes, resulting in multiple deductions from their income. Moreover, the high cost of living further compounds the financial strain. Renting a small studio apartment of about $3,500 per month is not uncommon, which significantly contributes to the inflated expenses. When factoring in federal, state, and city taxes, approximately 25% of a New Yorker's paycheck goes toward these deductions, reducing a $100,000 salary to $75,000. Furthermore, yearly rent expenses of $42,000 further diminish the available income, bringing the total to $33,000. Considering the inflated prices of groceries, individuals often spend around $150 per week on basic necessities, further depleting their earnings. Consequently, it becomes evident how swiftly $100,000 can disappear. It is no wonder that many individuals are leaving cities such as New York and California, known for their high cost of living, in search of more affordable regions anywhere else in the country. Comparing housing statistics, it becomes apparent that individuals residing in New York can save a significant amount by moving to other states. Housing costs in most states are estimated to be approximately 15 times lower than in New York, potentially resulting in yearly savings of $18,300. The primary and obvious reason for people leaving cities in the United States is the soaring cost of housing, as reported by nearly half of the individuals who relocated in 2021. The desire for more affordable housing and larger living spaces motivates them to seek alternative options in states like the Carolinas, Florida, and Texas. Additionally, job opportunities play a crucial role in attracting individuals from cities to these southern states. It is worth noting that the Sun Belt region of the United States, known for its enticing weather, also boasts a thriving job market. The states mentioned above were among the first regions to recover following the pandemic, with an estimated 5% increase in job availability compared to pre-pandemic levels. Moreover, the job markets in these southern regions rebounded twice as fast as the rest of the country. The allure of better work-life balance, job prospects, and more affordable housing contributes to the southern states becoming a sanctuary for those seeking refuge from cities. Furthermore, individuals relocating to counties with burgeoning economies in the southern states enjoy another advantage. For instance, Florida does not impose an individual state income tax, relieving residents of this financial burden. This absence of state income tax proves advantageous for individuals living paycheck to paycheck or those striving to save for the future. However, one concerning aspect of these migration patterns is that those who can afford to move away are doing so. Individuals struggling to make ends meet lack the means to uproot their lives, leaving them trapped in cities that gradually erode their savings and income. Since large cities like New York and Los Angeles heavily rely on their tax bases to fund social programs, the departure of wealthy and middle-class residents poses a significant challenge. As these populations migrate elsewhere, their financial resources follow suit, exacerbating the strain on already underfunded infrastructure and welfare programs. This predicament raises serious concerns as it becomes increasingly difficult for those most in need to access essential support. In summary, the substantial migration from cities to the southeastern and southern regions of the United States is driven by multiple factors. Escalating housing costs, the pursuit of more affordable living arrangements, and the availability of job opportunities play pivotal roles in attracting individuals to these areas. Moreover, the absence of state income taxes in some states further entices individuals seeking financial relief. However, it is crucial to recognize the challenges faced by individuals who lack the means to relocate, as their inability to escape the financial burden of cities compounds their difficulties. In the quest for social programs coupled with low taxes, Florida emerges as an attractive option for those seeking a robust job market and tax advantages. However, Texas takes the concept a step further by eliminating individual and corporate income taxes, making it an enticing destination for both workers and businesses. The appeal extends to South and North Carolina, where relatively low income taxes serve as a major draw. Examining migration patterns reveals a clear trend. Individuals are leaving high-tax and high-cost-of-living states in favor of jurisdictions with little to no income tax and more affordable housing options. It may seem logical in retrospect, prompting one to wonder why this shift took until now to materialize. Analysts attribute this phenomenon largely to the pandemic and how it altered people's priorities. The allure of city life faded as individuals realized the existence of opportunities beyond the exorbitantly priced urban centers in the United States, prompting them to seize these prospects. Remote work likely played a significant role in prompting individuals to reassess their ideal living conditions. The appeal of spacious and affordable houses or condominiums outweighed the allure of cramped apartments in trendy neighborhoods within bustling cities. Interestingly, it is not only cities that are witnessing an exodus, but the surrounding suburbs as well. In the past, when urban migration decreased, suburban areas experienced an influx of residents. However, the current trend shows people abandoning major cities like New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, and San Francisco, leaving both urban and suburban areas behind. Recent data indicates that while suburbs are not experiencing the same rate of population decline as cities, there is a steady decrease in people relocating to suburbs outside metropolitan areas. This can be attributed, in part, to the rising cost of living in urban suburbs, rendering them almost as financially unsustainable as the cities themselves. However, the reasons for individuals moving from major cities to smaller communities in states like Florida, Texas, and the Carolinas align with why people are gravitating toward major suburban areas. These southern states offer more affordable housing options and enticing incentives. The desire to live in a place where taxes do not drain bank accounts and housing prices are more reasonable supersedes the importance of proximity to a major city or one's hometown for many Americans. Admittedly, this does not hold true for everyone, as there are individuals moving from the south to major cities in the northeast and west. However, the magnitude of the exodus from cities and their surrounding suburbs is unparalleled. To be fair, suburbs still experience growth compared to city centers. Nevertheless, between 2019 and 2021, 43 out of the 56 major suburban areas surrounding metropolitan regions witnessed either a decline in growth or an increase in the number of residents leaving. This implies that 77% of suburbs around major cities could face significant population outflows in the coming years, with the number of major metro suburbs experiencing population loss having tripled over the past decade. Consequently, even suburbs that are currently witnessing a decline in population growth may soon find themselves scrambling to attract more residents. Deserted suburbs with boarded-up windows and dilapidated properties are unlikely to be the top choice for relocation. While the mass exodus from cities to less densely populated southern regions could be an anomaly, one constant over the past 2 decades has been the declining number of individuals moving into major cities. Technological advancements enabling remote work from anywhere in the world and corporations relocating to areas with lower taxes or offering tax breaks have contributed to this shift. The incessant rise in living costs in cities like New York, Washington, D.C., Chicago, San Francisco, and Los Angeles is simply unsustainable for many. Millennials and subsequent generations, who have postponed starting families, are now seeking opportunities to establish their own. Sustaining oneself in a major city is an arduous financial task, and raising a child on a modest or even moderately high income can be unattainable depending on the location. This factor further drives people away from city life, pushing them toward states and regions where they can afford properties that facilitate their family's growth. Perhaps the mass exodus from cities will be counterbalanced by younger generations flocking to these urban centers for better opportunities. Alternatively, immigrants may find communities, homes, and possibilities in major cities. However, if the current trajectory continues, more cities will experience not only a decline in new residents but also an overall decrease in population. Yet, it is not all despair for U.S. cities. Many smaller cities are witnessing an influx of residents. Nevertheless, it is evident that even the thriving small cities are primarily concentrated in specific areas. Out of the 5 cities with the highest percentage growth in recent years, all are located in just 2 states. Arizona boasts Queen Creek and Buckeye, while Texas boasts San Antonio, Leander, and New Braunfels. Moreover, when considering cities with the largest positive numerical changes, San Antonio and Phoenix in Texas and Arizona respectively gained over 13,000 residents in 2021. Fort Worth, Texas, welcomed just under 13,000 new residents, while Port St. Lucie, Florida, and North Las Vegas, Nevada, each gained approximately 10,000 residents. Notably, the population growth is concentrated in southern states. This leads to an inevitable conclusion. both large and small cities in the northern and coastal regions are facing challenges. While some smaller cities in these areas are still experiencing population growth, none have achieved the same level of success as their southern counterparts. The reasons for this disparity include the cost of living, job opportunities, taxes, quality of life, and the appeal of warmer climates with more sunny days throughout the year. In the coming decades, state and local governments must closely monitor changes in residential numbers in their cities and towns. Without additional incentives to encourage individuals to stay in cities or at least within major suburbs, significant population declines could plague some of the United States' most vital economic hubs. While the future is unlikely to see Hollywood Boulevard or Times Square devoid of people, funding problems and a shortage of skilled labor could beset major cities if current trends persist. On the flip side, it is plausible that the mass movement of Americans to the South will drive up the cost of living in the region, prompting a potential resurgence of major cities in the Northeast and West. Ultimately, people will seek a place where they can be happy while earning a comfortable living.